the tally. We're just looking at maybe, 4 foot by maybe a foot plaque. We're still kind of discussing, should we make it out of metal, should we make it out of wood, make it look like something, make it look nice, and basically put it over the mayor's
Mr.
wall.
Chair.
Yeah.
So we're going forward with the city seal, right? Is that what we're talking about? There's no city seal there now, is there?
No, we're looking at just putting I'm not aware of any seal involved in this. we're just looking.
It says
for
above the
it-
seal. It says, I don't know what the actual resolution says. I don't know, what above what seal? Are we talking about the seal on everywhere our city seal is displayed? Or just in the council
I see it.
chamber?
Yeah,
In
I
the
see it
council
now.
chambers. But where's the city seal in the council chambers?
I'd have to go look.
Yeah, is it on letterhead or?
No, it says in the council chambers above the seal.
It would be the flags.
Is there a seal up there? And Mr. Chair, if I could also, I think, did everybody get a chance to read the city attorney's letter on this?
Yep.
I'm just wondering what the upside is.
I don't see it.
Versus the downside.
I don't even know where this came from or why.
Vince asked, I'm not even sure who wrote it, who wrote the resolution.
Well, it says sponsored by
Right.
Tell.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move the place on file.
Is there a second?
Second.
Move the second,
Is
further
this-
discussion?
What is this?
All in favor? Or, you okay?
Yeah, it's a resolution.
What? So you don't want to do it?
Did you read what the city attorney had to say about it?
Yeah. Either way.
Don't even want to get lost.
Yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
No.
That-
I'm voting no.
Okay, that was, I got it, okay.
To just place it on file.
Right, we're just placing it on file. That was moved by Alderman Weidel, seconded by Alderman Ranky, correct?
Yes.
And Alderman Chaplowski's voting no. Number 13 on tonight's agenda, resolution amending the existing professional service contract with AECOM to provide consultant services relative to stormwater plan reviews in compliance with DNR NR 151 and RNR 216 and MMSD's Chapter 13 rules for additional sum not to exceed $10,000. Mike?
Yeah, this is our consulting work to review stormwater plans. For example, the plans that had to go through for the hotel. They've got to install underground detention, water quality thing. It's an in and out account. Whatever the consultant charges, within reason, the developer pays those costs. So
Mr.
it's,
Chair?
Alderman Weigel.
So this isn't for our citywide plan. This is site specific, this
Site
particular thing?
specific, yes.
But this is no impact on taxpayers. Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Weigel, seconded by Alderman Ranky. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 14 is a request from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation for the city to temporarily restrict parking along the north side of Greenfield Avenue from South 84th to South 92nd Street. The proposed restriction will occur from 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, October 1st, 2014 until October 31st, 2017. I'll start with that I was at the public hearing and we had one person show up and all the businesses were invited. They had all the details and the plans, et cetera. And I think it really affects probably, 2 businesses in any kind of capacity, but now you can elaborate from there if you care to, or Pete.
Like you said, yeah, they want to use Greenfield Avenue for 3 years as a detour route from 84th to 92nd. They want to have 2 lanes of traffic going westbound, and in exchange, they will pave the road for free, including the parking lanes, which is not typically their responsibility. I mean, that is State Trunk Highway, and they would pay for resurfacing it anyway, but they would not pay for parking lanes. So the fact that they put that in the letter is worth hundreds of thousands.
And that's one of the things we demanded that evening, and they said, yes, we will.
Yes, yes.
So the beauty of this particular one is the people are going to get a new street and no assessment. It's going in for,
And no
state's doing
cost
it,
to the
no
city
cost to
at
the
all.
city at all.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Alderman White?
2 things. It says request. Not a request, is it?
They're being courteous.
Okay. And so this is really just 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, although it is for 3 years. Okay. Yeah. Do we need action on this?
Yes, we do. We need a recommendation to approve.
It's
So
just the
moved.
north side, right?
Yeah, just the westbound.
Okay. Second.
Was moved by, was that Alderman Weigel? Seconded by Alderman Ranky. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number 15, ordinance to amend amend sections 705, 70,
Hold this
Hold.
one. Yeah, that's the garbage.
that's right, I
that's the
didn't even,
garbage cards.
yeah, I didn't even sign it after I looked at it. Number 16, resolution to confirm and adopt the report, Director of Public Works Engineer, containing the schedule of proposed assessments, improvements for the West Wildwood Terrace from South 90,
I move for approval of 16 and 17.
16 and 17 are basically the same things from the public hearing. It's been moved by Alderman Chaplusky. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Weigel. Further discussion on these two items?
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Weigel.
did I understand correctly, one of those little short streets already has 16 water main break patches in it?
Yes.
So that main had to be replaced anyways,
Yeah,
essentially.
it's really bad. And the other one has 6, and it's half the distance, so they're
Yeah.
both very bad.
So, and in replacing the water main, the street would get torn up anyways, and.
Right. And the street's gone anyway.
Yeah.
It's 50 years old.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Alderman.
how many homes are impacted with this?
I don't know offhand, I'm guessing probably what, between both, 100 maybe? Not that, 50. I'm
That
guessing.
many in the Cornton Terrace? I thought there were only...
I'm just guessing.
Oh,
I can
because
get back to you.
Engineer guessing.
When I called, he only said there were four homes.
The shorter one, yeah, Wildwood Terrace has about 5 homes.
As much as they
Wildwood
turn.
Terrace has, I don't know, 30, 40, I'm gonna keep going down, but I'm not sure. I'll have to
We,
get back to you.
yeah,
Okay,
we'll look it up.
all right, thank you.
Any further discussion on items number 16 and 17? With that, they've been moved by Alderman Chaplusky, seconded by Alderman Weigel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried. That is the end of Public Works. Now turn the meeting over to Alderman Chaplusky, Chairman of License and Health.
Call license and health to order. Heather Rodriguez. See ya. Yeah, get your stuff out of here. Yeah. Have a seat, please. Okay, you want to take over the tavern at 9524 West Greenfield Avenue.
That's correct.
Have you ever been in this business before?
Yes, I have. I have been in restaurant management and tavern. Well, my husband owned a tavern for 17 years. I helped him with that, and then I was also in restaurant management for the last 6 years.
Okay.
Which tavern?
Max Madhouse in Millwood.
Gotta say I'm not familiar with that. Where was that?
It was on Clement Avenue.
Okay,
Clement
so-
and Morgan.
Okay. Oh, so not like Bayview, further south?
Just outside.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
just
Alderman
for
Barber.
clarification, this is an existing, and it's just a transfer for the application, correct? It's not a new,
It's an
not a new
existing
license over
premises.
quota.
Yeah, no.
That's correct.
Very good. Move for approval.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
The speech? No one's
Yeah,
giving
oh,
a
it's well.
speech?
Give the speech.
Please, I'd love to get this.
Well, welcome to West Dallas.
Thank you very much.
Understand that we expect you to be, you and your staff, to be partners with the police. We know it's never gonna be a problem there, but when there is, and the police need to be called, you, staff will be able to identify the problem accurately and, help the police solve the problem. Our peeves are when somebody shows up at the hospital or the police station at 3 AM with a bloody nose or worse and says, I was at such and such a place. And when we go there, they don't know anything about, we don't know anything about it. You know, you need to know what's going on.
Right.
Understand the laws of the state of Wisconsin. You're clearly familiar with that, buying from licensed wholesalers. Don't serve people that are drunk. That is against the law. Are you gonna have some sort of alcohol consumption policy for your staff?
I don't really permit it.
Okay. Okay. Is it gonna be written or?
Those are still in the works,
Okay,
but
you know.
the premise is that it's not permissible to excess maybe one at the end of the shift is my usual.
That's another one of our things where the police, you read the police report and it says the bartenders are drunk, highly intoxicated.
Highly
No, not
intoxicated.
good, not good. We do occasionally send people not of age in to attempt to buy beverages, so typically when that happens to a bartender, the owner, the management fires them. Don't have a problem, I don't have a problem with that, and make them pay the fine. You have to live with your neighbors, they don't have to live with you. according to Alderman Chaplesky there.
That is correct.
So, and what kind of place are you gonna, I mean, it's not gonna be radically different, I think, from what it
Not
was.
radically. I think over time, our initial focus is going to be to increase the curb appeal of the building. The building is not in great shape, and it really doesn't look nice. So that's going to be our initial focus, and then any minor changes, they'll come over time. We do intend to make it less of a corner bar and sort of bring it up a little bit more to the cocktail lounge.
Okay. Was this the plan of operation I saw where you had a waiting line drawn on outside, like you're anticipating crowds?
That's just, it said,
I
if,
thought,
yes.
it was very optimistic.
Believe me, I would like nothing better than to have security guards and doormen.
Well, we would, you know,
and
that's a
all
whole
that
other
good
story,
stuff.
but, we hope you do a very good business
Thank you.
and you don't need security guards.
Not at this point. Well,
Sorry.
Is there further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
we'll be voting on it tonight, and then everything will be available tomorrow after 10?
If all the requirements
Yeah.
are met.
If all is
We will have some, we do have some delays in getting some of the repairs done, but we'll get those
Yeah.
done and get all that information. I do have the lease. Do you want a copy of that now to go with the paperwork, or shall I just bring it in another
No,
time?
Bring it in another
Yeah.
time.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
John Love.
I cannot picture that 25th thing. I think it's a two-story. On the corner. It's across from that.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Attorney Eric Platt, appearing on behalf of Mr. Love. Mr. Love is present.
Okay. Now, Tim Zarnecki was also asked to appear, and, well, he called me, he can't make it,
Okay.
but he did, I asked him if he plans on surrendering the license, and he said absolutely not.
Okay. I have not spoken with Mr. Zarnacki personally. Mr. Love came to us. As you can see, seated in the back is a representative from WWIC, the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation. What we're trying to do is, Mr. Zarnacki is in material default on several of his obligations. He is not running a business that would seem to be up to par with what is requested in West House.
Okay, I understand that, but
Yes.
you're in here applying for a license,
Yes, sir.
right? And there's already a license for that.
Yes, sir.
So without him, correct me if I'm wrong here, without him surrendering the license, we cannot give you a
Absolutely.
license.
And we would respectfully request a stay of our application pending Mr. Zarnecki. Mr. Love is currently in discussions with Mr. Zarnecki to see if he will, under some circumstances, surrender his liquor license. We'd like to get a real business operating in this space. Mr. Love has stepped up. He's contributed a significant amount of money, significant amount of time, for the sole purpose of saving the jobs of these employees. What we're hoping to do is, if Mr. Zarnecki will step aside, and we have not come to terms with Mr. Zarnecki on how that will be accomplished, we'd like Mr. Love to step in, open a new business, a more reputable business, completely change the way the bar is operated, and give you a reputable tenant in the city of West Dallas.
Okay.
So,
and
respectfully, we would request that you stay our application until
that we
such
just
time.
hold this.
Exactly.
Well, I suppose we could.
Who's in front of us right now?
This is Mr. Love, John Love.
He's not,
Well,
There is an issue that, respectfully, we would request a private audience to discuss relating to.
see, we can't
You'll
do
never
that.
get a private audience.
Okay.
Unless you get the state law changed.
Okay, we can't get a private audience, and my understanding is, is that I think we're gonna vote the places in the file, because if I'm not mistaken, we couldn't give you the license in this name anyway.
correct.
Correct, I understand.
Yeah, so, I don't know if you can just amend that, or if they have to fill out a whole new application.
Our hope is that after the stay, we can amend. We'd like to get our ducks in a row. Mr.
Well,
Love retained my firm.
It seems to me that, based on this
This is our city
application
attorney,
and the
so.
problems with it, and now his representation that they want it held, I think the best thing to do is just place this one on file.
Yep.
When and if you're ready to apply again, apply and do it under a proper name. And, then maybe we can deal with it. But applying under a fictitious name, when a license isn't available, what are we holding?
Right.
It seems kind of pointless.
My client has authorized me to discuss the extenuating circumstances of why he filled out the application with the name John Love.
I don't know if it's necessary.
Not even necessary.
Move to place on file.
You
Second.
know,
Okay.
do we have to deny this and place on file, or just place on file?
No, just place it on file.
Okay.
So the attorney
Who
suggested it.
seconded it?
I did.
Okay, is there any further discussion
I
on
mean,
this?
unless your intent is to deny it, but I mean, based on what you had said,
Right.
you're
Just
gonna-
place on file because
Yeah.
there is no license,
Right.
correct? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you,
Yep,
gentlemen.
thank you.
Nicole Hoffmeyer. Pretty good, though.
That's a German name in West Dallas, and you're proud of saying it correctly.
Okay. Okay, this is a new application for bartender's license. Have you ever bartended before?
Yes, I used to hold a license in Wauwatosa, and I worked at Blue Mountain Gardens during that time.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Weigel.
where are you planning on working?
Well, I did have an opportunity at, the thought of an opportunity at the draft. My friend works there at 91st and Lincoln, and Paul is looking for another bartender, and since I have experience, she had me fill it out. She was asking about me, so she told me to apply for the license. Whether or not I get the job there, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm a single mother, and I know I'm going to be going to school soon, and I want to get like part-time hours somewhere, like nighttime, and I know bartending jobs are fairly easy to get.
And how'd you get here today?
I drove.
Do you have a driver's license?
Actually, I was going to pay those tickets today.
Is that a yes or a no?
No. I did just get the money today to pay the tickets though
Okay,
for my car
and
accident.
on your application, you're asked about your background, ticketed, arrested, convicted, or fined, and you're supposed to put the federal, state, or city laws, including traffic.
I forgot to put the traffic stuff. I did realize
Well,
that.
you know, I really don't care too much about traffic, unless it leads to suspension, which shows that you have like a habitual not following the rules thing going
No,
on.
I was just in a severe car accident last year and couldn't afford to pay the tickets that came from it. I wasn't at fault though. I was just in a bad situation.
Okay, and your record also shows possession with intent, THC, no prosecution in '06.
Many years ago.
Well, I understand that. What are we talking about? How much? What was it?
It was about 28 grams.
28, is that a lot? I don't know.
It's about nice.
Well, 25 grams or less is what we can prosecute municipally, I mean, on the municipal level. Anything over that is, boy, any small amount the DA can charge, but, so we're limited to 25, so it's relatively a small amount. But if it was with intent to deliver, that means the packaging was such that,
It was double bagged.
yeah.
Why was there no prosecution?
I have no idea.
They just threw it out.
They released me out of jail, told me they would send me a piece of paper with a court date, and I never got anything.
You got 4 of those with no disposition.
4 of those?
Mm-hmm.
What are the other ones?
Possession with intent,
On the paraphernalia was the
THC.
same day, right?
Nope, that's 4/14/06.
Well, there was another paraphernalia the same day as they arrested me for.
And then there's 05/12/06,
Possession.
possession of, that's paraphernalia.
Oh, okay.
And resisting an officer.
That one you got
That
nailed with.
I was dating somebody who, I was talking to somebody for like a week. I don't know if you guys know. He robbed a bank and lied to me about it. After he got arrested, I found the clothes because I saw the picture on the internet. I found the clothes in my closet. I disposed of them. Somebody thought it looked suspicious and called it in to the police and said, police said that I was supposed to turn in the clothes, but I didn't understand why I was supposed to turn in evidence if they already knew who did the crime. He already confessed to it. I wasn't involved, and then they told me to keep coming to court, and I kept coming to court, and they never called me in, and then they just sent me a ticket in the mail for that.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Barzak.
you don't have a driver's license and you drove here, correct?
Yes.
Right there to me, first of all, you're being extremely candid about that, which impresses me, because everybody lies,
Honest.
and you're being totally honest. At the same time, you're displaying a little bit of an ability where you're having trouble following rules. Liquor laws are extremely difficult to follow. They're not easy, and what I think what you're showing to us is that you have a little bit of a problem of following rules and responsibility. And you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, let's just say that we sat here and we approved this license, and then a week from now, you drive to work and get in an accident, or on the way home from work, and somebody looks back and said, you know, she drove in there and she has this record, and you granted her a license. Who would be liable? So you kind of understand that? You're putting us in a tough position. And it's really, really hard. If you came back here in a month or two and you got a ride here and didn't drive here, and I'm going to let you know there's a police officer in the back of the room right now, so you better not get in that car when you walk out this door.
Okay, can I just talk for 1 second? I did get my taxes today, and I was gonna pay it tonight because my dad doesn't know that my license is suspended because I'm too ashamed to tell him. I just moved back home to fix my life. If I have to wait 2 more months, I really hope that I can be refunded on this because I'm not waiting 2 more months for a lousy bartending job. I'd rather do something else.
Okay, and my point is, get back in here, be honest, and you know what? You probably would consider it. But under the circumstances, right now, tonight, I can't take that chance of being
But
liable for
I mean,
that.
do I get my $90 back?
You don't.
That's ridiculous.
You don't. Based on what I've heard tonight in the testimony, et cetera, I move for denial of the license.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion
Well,
carries.
sorry.
Okay, we have Marcia Blum. Once again, we have a new license.
Yep.
Have you bartended before?
No, I have not.
Now, well, we wrote some things down here, but you have once again, we're back in the same thing, the extensive record of, and not that long ago, it was a lot sooner than the lady that just left, you know, of drug activity. See, one of the problems is that, you know, you talk to the police department, a lot of drugs are passed through bars.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we see this here, you know, anybody who has already been involved in drugs, well, we don't want to put them in a bar.
Yeah, I understand.
And for that, so, and you have, like, from 2009 to 2012, and some of them said no disposition, but there is, you know, some convictions in there. You were, you had a felony on,
It was dismissed, and in a year from now, it'll get expunged off my record. And then, yeah, so.
okay, that one doesn't say dismissed in here, but there was one on,
In Waukesha?
well, it's funny,
Oh,
because
these
it
are all
says,
Greenville, yeah.
there's
Mr.
one
Chair?
312 and then 38. Oh no, that's drug paraphernalia, so, all in waggle.
Mr. Chair. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, what does that mean?
It just in the state statute, there are schedules of prohibited drugs.
So those are
and
the worst ones? I mean-
Right, the penalties become greater depending on which schedule they're in.
And so, if I read this correctly, there's a felony conviction for drugs.
I wasn't convicted with it, but it was dismissed, and like I said, it will be expunged with good behavior in like exactly a year from yesterday, so.
You still did it.
Yes, I still did it, and I learned my lesson. I hit 18 months yesterday. Like, super proud of myself for that, but definitely learned, like, my lesson, and I don't want to disappoint myself or my family anymore.
Mr. Chair,
All in waggle.
I'm gonna move for denial based on that in combination with the OWI in Hales Corners. You know, as you said, I mean,
Seconds.
intent to counterfeit narcotics, possession, there's a couple charges on drug possession. There's one that is apparently on some sort of deferred punishment thing, but if it's a felony, then to me that seems it's a substantial crime, so.
Well, based on what she's saying, it's not that she was convicted of it, but she's eligible to have it expunged if she stays clean for a set period of time, so.
But as it is
She
right
pled to
now.
the crime right now
Yeah.
when she's convicted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the motion, did I have a second?
I did,
Second?
yeah.
Okay.
And
Further
again,
discussion,
you have to realize our job of responsibility. And if something happened, we're the ones held accountable, not you. You get away and go, oh, too bad. And we're the ones that get held accountable here. And it's hard. We see this, 26 years I've been sitting here, and we see it night after night after night in these meetings. And we're the bad guys, and we understand that. But we didn't do this. And there's going to be consequences all through life based on this. And this is one of them. And, you know, I'm sorry that you can't. You look like a nice young lady, and I'm sure you do a good job. You still can tend bar. You just can't have the license. You tend bar with another licensed bartender. I don't know if you know that, but you can. It's the way the state of Wisconsin works. But there's just too much there for us to take the chance. And you have to realize that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Sir?
Sorry.
Is there any way I can reapply eventually, or what would?
I mean, like in 5 years, if you were clean, I would consider something.
Okay.
But, you know, not within the near future, I wouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
Ross Cunningham. Good thing it's not a popularity contest tonight. Okay. I think you missed the last meeting, I'm not sure.
Mr. Chairman? I guess I'll start this one out.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you read the part about, have you ever been ticketed, arrested, convicted, fined for any violations, federal, state, or city laws?
Yeah, I believe I read it wrong. I believe I read it.
How can you read that wrong?
Not that. I thought there was a time limit that you went back or how many years.
Have you ever?
Okay.
Didn't say in the last 5 years, doesn't say that, it says, have you ever? And, you know, 08's not that long ago. 02's not that long ago. On your record, you have two things that really jump out. One is possession of a controlled substance back in 02.
No.
Right
It
here.
was a THC ticket, not a controlled substance.
THC is a controlled substance.
Okay, well that's not wrong.
Still, it's made change.
I was in
Denver
a,
and
I was in a vehicle with other people who had it and no one owned up to it, so we all were charged with the same thing.
Yep. And then 08, you have an OWI, which is important, which you didn't put down there.
I understand.
What happened with the OWI?
I actually was coming home one night and on my own street, I turned in during a snowstorm and I hit a parked car. And I didn't leave the scene or anything. I stayed there. I owned up to it, and I got a ticket for it.
You know, 02 is some 11, 12 years ago. I mean, you know, okay, you're a dumb young kid, no problem with that. 08's not that long ago. Had you put those on there, our discussion probably be over and we'd be going, it'd be done.
I understand.
But because you didn't list it, that's where this now is the following rules thing. This is not that bad of an application, and it happened a while ago, even the 08. I mean, I was trying to do my math 6 years ago, and, you know, after that, you've been, you know, pretty good. So, believe it or not, I am going to support you tonight. But when you fill an application out, read it and do it right.
First of all, do I have a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Further discussion?
Ross, where are you gonna be working?
I don't have a job yet, but I also applied at the draft on 91st and Lincoln. But they wanted a license before they would even let me go in there.
Any further discussion? Still discussion?
No, I got nothing to say.
Okay. We have motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
It will go to the council. And when there's a opposition, then the other aldermen are gonna say, why? And so I can't guarantee you anything what's gonna happen once it goes back. You wanna stick around, you're more than welcome to, but you don't get to speak or anything like
Sure.
that. It'll be discussion on the floor.
So you don't want, is that tonight still?
Yeah, it would be
Yes, no.
probably within
Yeah.
another half an hour, give or take. If not, you can call tomorrow, and Monica can let you know how it went.
Okay, I'll call because I work at 5 in the morning. So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Yep.
Ariel
Thanks for your
Pfeiffer? Ariel Pfeiffer?
Second appearance?
Non-appearance on 225.
Move denial based on 2 non-appearances.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, Urban Joe's. Because I don't want to pronounce your name. Come on up.
I didn't mean Mr. T in a derogatory way.
No, I know.
What did she do?
Okay, we've been here before. This is the motion to go over quota. You know, some of the statements that were made, you know, about the big coffee places. The thing about it is that those coffee places came in, if we give you a license, a coffee place comes in here, we can't say no to them. Any Coffee Works down there wants a license, we gotta say, you know, give it to them, simply because we're setting a precedence, you know, on this. And, I just, you know, it does not meet our criteria that we've set up and went by. I was looking at the list of denials that we've done in the past and the ones we approved, and it just, how many drinks do you make with alcohol? Not beer, not wine, just alcohol. How many actual drinks? How many actual coffees?
I mean, there's a number of them. There's, you can make Amaretto coffees, you can make Irish coffees, you can make Baileys, you could do different coffee combinations. I mean, there's quite a few options that people have. Cordials, after hour cordial, that's not unheard of. I mean, with all due respect, I understand where you're coming from, but what is the criteria? I mean, if a little guy can't make it in this, I mean, we would all want a big franchise to come in downtown and open up a, you know, it brings other businesses there, but
Not necessarily. I don't want
I don't know.
big franchise. I mean, I'm a small business.
Put in,
and all that way, but
I gotta think.
You know, it's just, you know, it's just, we set the quota up for a reason because we had so many.
Right.
And that's why, you know, if we start going over quota again and again, and we're going to be right back where we were before.
Right.
I mean, there was a purpose for doing it. And matter of fact, I don't know how many years ago when we took that, as a matter of fact, I think it was your proposal to take the 5 off. You know, and.
It was actually Sengstack's, believe it or not.
And so it just, we're not looking necessarily for big places, but we're looking, you know, if the hotel wants to open up a restaurant in there, obviously, you know, it's something that, you know, that we figured benefits the city, and it's in a development area and everything, but.
Mr. Chair, if I could?
I think.
Yeah. And that was gonna be my point is, when we went into development with the hotel, part of the stipulation before a hotel would even talk to us was, is there gonna be a liquor license available?
Right.
And so what kind of money are you talking about here? We're talking about a $12 to $20 million investment, and probably even a brew pub. Now, we're obviously gonna give the license over quota for something like that, excuse me, with that type of investment.
right.
You came into the city with good intent and opened up the business, and we hear these all the time. We get these requests, numerous, that I opened the business, I just can't make it, I gotta have this liquor license now.
Right.
And then, once you have it, there's nothing I can do from you turning that thing into a pool hall in 2 weeks. I know you're not going to,
Right.
but it can't stop you, and it's happened to us.
Right.
It's happened to us numerous times. Once that license is issued, then tomorrow I guarantee you, I'm gonna start looking for a place up on Highway 100, and I'm opening up a coffee shop, and guess what I'm gonna get? A liquor license, because they cannot deny me. Because once I give it to you,
Right.
anybody can come into the city and open up a coffee shop and say, well, you gave it to them, we're struggling a little, I need one too. There's nothing, Scott, am I correct? It'd be real tough to defend that I can't give that liquor license out. And that's our problem. If Joe, we want to give you this license, everybody on this wants you to have this license. We can't.
I don't know, I understand that, and I understand your point of view, but I guess from a business standpoint that I'm looking at is that hotel project that you guys are talking about, the $20 million hotel. When those people, their clientele that they attract to that hotel, they're gonna be based on the way they market their hotels is not because of the hotel itself, but also the surroundings and what kind of businesses are in there that will accommodate their guests. And when they come in, they're gonna be like, well, what do we have in the vicinity? What kind of restaurant, what kind of entertainment, what kind of venues do you have? State Fair is a great venue.
Yep.
But that only happens on the weekends and whenever there's, but other than that, if they're having business meetings, those business people are gonna come in, they're gonna be like, well, where can we go?
Probably down to Starbucks. Be honest with you.
No, I'm just saying, but say they wanna have a cocktail at an evening.
Oh, there's probably right down to their pub or into their restaurant. I travel quite a bit, and I don't, once I go down to have a cocktail, I don't leave. I don't get into a car and get behind the wheel. That does not happen.
Right, but
So-
I mean, I've been around in this industry pretty much all my life as well, and I've worked in a lot of hotels. I've gotten my start in five-star dining. I used to work at the Harold's for 8 years. And I'm quite familiar with the business clientele that comes in there and what they look for and what kind of lounges that they're looking for. Yeah, there are people that do stay in the hotel, but they also look at what's around in the vicinity as well that support that type of business and makes, I guess that complements the city and makes it grow.
It does, it helps.
You know, and I think you guys see the vision as well. I think our concern here is that we're gonna have taverns popping up at left and right or other businesses that want liquor licenses that are not as, I run my business ethically. And
Absolutely.
I have a lot of integrity and I know that I would be an asset to the city. And I would bring the right type of people into the city. But I don't know if, I guess the city doesn't share those views.
Oh, we share those views.
You know, I don't know.
Yep, you just don't quite understand it. We're trying to explain it to you.
Right,
but-
no, I understand. I understand.
Mr. Chairman?
For this,
Yeah, Alderman Barzak asked me a question about
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
And I just want to kind of explain, it's easy to say no because we've done that many times and we're sticking with our quota. That's easy. It's also easy to say yes to him because many reasons were given for why yes. The tough part and the point I was trying to make with my email earlier is saying no to the next applicant. And what you need to do if you're interested in voting yes on this is distinguishing this from any other small coffee shop or place that serves food or whatever, because like you said, Alderman Barzak, if we could grant one, the others will be coming down the pike and the inclination is going to be to say no, and that's where we run into trouble. So you need to come up with reasons for why this is different from any other application, whether it's geographical, that limited solely to the downtown business district, but then any coffee shop that wants to come in there can go, what's your basis going to be for that? But it's up to you if you want to vote yes, to come up with those distinctions between this and another business, so that we've got a grounds for why we granted it to one and why we would deny in the future.
And I agree with you 100%. I think some of the problem we had, and I'll bring up the deck situation, and we gave the first one because it's a addition to the premises and an eating space, and then all of a sudden just bum, and it just, you can't deny them anymore. And I think we ran into that problem the first time we actually even went over quota. When we started to, and pretty soon we had more coming in, and it's like, it got carried, and we finally got firm with it, and we got it under control. My fear is exactly like what you said. If we say, okay, downtown, then any coffee shop that comes in, we can't deny them if it's based on that. I have a lot of trouble with that because I know how it is once you give one. I've seen it in the past. So,
Marty, you were next.
Yes, Mr. Chair. First of all, I think it's, look at this, it's not just a coffee shop. It wouldn't just be a coffee shop. He's a property owner, okay? He's not a tenant, he's a 10-year property owner in downtown. That could be another specification in the, you know, in the defensibility of the position. We all understand the slippery slope, we don't want to go over there. If we can phrase this in some way that Joe or somebody else like Joe, maybe we give one for Joe and you get somebody else wants to do the same kind of business. We want him to, you know, a property owner, a 10-year property owner. We also have a new application now, which we've just started it. We're starting to see these. The new liquor applications have a plan of operation, and question 9 is type of business, planned or currently conducted at the premises, okay? And Joe checked off deli, he scratched out the fast food part of that, and he checked off cafe, coffee shop. So I think if we grant him this license based on this application, and he turns it into something else, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it puts us in a better position to go to Joe when it turns into Joe's Pool Hall. I'm not saying it's going to,
Right.
but if it does, when Joe comes around next year to renew his license and he has to check off Pool Hall, we say, you know, that's not a renewal, that's gonna be a new application. By the way, we're gonna say no. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I can't, you know, I can't,
he's right there.
yeah, and maybe it's more defensible, but it doesn't, I don't know if it's, you know.
Again, you're reading from the email that I sent to you earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we now have a mechanism that we never used to have
Yeah.
that's in there, and it's more defensible. Never been tried anywhere, so I don't know what the outcome would be, but at least we have an argument, whereas before we didn't.
Right,
That
before
it
we
was-
did- we
A
didn't-
license was a license was a license, and you could do whatever you wanted with it, regardless of what you said. Now you have a plan of operation, and, you know, that could be our basis for not renewing.
Or even denial. if we
Well,
wanted.
once they get it, it's always a renewal
Yeah.
process.
Well, I mean, like, let's say 6 months into it, he switches it, and it turns into a headache. Well, if it turns into a headache, we could remove it.
Right.
Also, a couple other things. Just for everybody knows, you could apply for and get a C wine license immediately.
Yeah, beer and wine.
And I believe we have a beer. I believe we have one more beer left. So the real discussion is about liquor.
Right.
Okay. Also, during the public hearing, it was brought up that we have currently 3 licenses out there in various states not being used. Well, one of those licenses is not under any kind of encumbrance from the city, at least one of them is, and have you reached out to them to try to talk to them?
No.
Which is what we've seen every other new
Right.
applicant come in, they're buying an existing business
Well,
that includes some assets, including a license.
well, the concern I have as far as that goes, like, I mean, the justification behind it would be that my liquor sales are not gonna be over 20% of my food sales.
So you don't think it'd be, and you don't,
I don't think.
no
it
one
would
knows,
be-
so you don't think it'd be worth your while to spend money to conceivably spend thousands or
Exactly,
something on this
exactly.
license? So you want us to kind of give you one for free?
Well, in a sense, I want to have the same consideration that another person would have when they're applying for a license, but I guess my concern that if I wanted to buy a tavern or, and had the intentions of doing that, then I would.
Well, this isn't a tavern I'm
Right.
talking about, it was a Thai restaurant.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And his phone number's available from the clerk's office, and you can call him tomorrow morning, and because he moved his business to Franklin.
Maybe they'll surrender it.
If it would've been me, that would've been my first step in this process.
Right. I mean, at that point, then if I'm buying that, then then again, I guess I'm losing the focus of where I want to be with my business, and I don't want to be a bar. I don't want.
Well, no, you're buying the same license.
Right. But I mean, I guess
You don't have to turn it into a bar.
Right. But I mean, when I'm buying something like that, then I have to have a return on my investment, and at that point, when I have to,
You're correct.
if I'm buying that,
Investment.
that means that now I have to get a bar in there. I have to make my money back that I invested in there, in that respect, and that's not the direction I want to go with this. I mean, with all due respect, that's the reason.
So it's about return on investment.
Exactly.
If the license, if the Thai restaurant is closed, they're not doing business, why aren't we going for revocation? And if we revocate that license,
Just someone.
So far, there's no complainant.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Okay.
It's subject to revocation after 30 days, but somebody has to complain.
the city building.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
we can.
Me?
That was my point.
Yeah,
Alderman May?
a couple of the points I would make, okay, and I've worked with a lot of developments all over Wisconsin. It all comes really down to geography and how you tighten this up. It's a established restaurant first, in the C1 district, of a set distance from residential zoning, which in this case, I checked with our GIS guys, there's only 5 properties in the entire city would meet those three qualifications. They're all downtown. So if you're looking for a way to really tighten it up and prevent these from the slippery slope occurring everywhere, you say it's a restaurant, established restaurant first, it's in the C1, and it's the nearest property line to residential is
Blank amount of feet.
blank amount of feet. And again, in the end, it means it's open to 5 businesses. One of them's Marty's.
Not for sale yet.
Yeah, but he has a license.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I was gonna say something similar with, well, first I wanted to, again, I missed the beginning of what you said, Alderman Barzak, just like last meeting, but I hope I don't misspoke here, but, if, this is granted, and then we'll use the Joe's Pool Hall, even though I don't even know if you could fit a pool table in there, but, can't we then revoke the license if it becomes a problem bar? Like we did with Annie's, or like we did with...
If it becomes a problem bar, yeah.
Right, okay.
But if
And then
it
the
doesn't-
second thought is, I was gonna encourage what you had said, is that what I'm hearing is there's a way to do this. And I think, it's hard when you look at this because you look at it through your heart and what you want to see West Allis become. And I think we all, like you had alluded to, feel that we want to do this. And sounds like there is a way. I mean, when we look at where we were 6 years ago, and you look at what's happened in our downtown, when you look at 88 Keys, when you look at Mis Sueños, when you look at the barbecue place, Betos has been a mainstay. We're really 1 or 2 destinations away, or I should say locations away from being a destination, and that was talked about tonight by a couple residents. And I really would hope that this committee and this council can put the verbiage together to make it work in a very functional but narrow scope where this won't open a floodgate.
Well, with Michael's proposal, what he just said, if we went with that language.
You can make it tighter. Are you asking me a question?
Yes,
sir. What is that question? You're looking at me.
That sounds perfect.
Or do it within the...
Well, like I said,
district.
the more distinctions you make between this and another applicant, the better off we are. If you just say, this is a great guy, I like him, I like his business, and I'm gonna give it to him. And
Well, that's what I want to do.
Next schlub who comes down the road I don't like, and I'm not gonna give it to him, I can guarantee you, we'll lose that next case. If you have, the more criteria you have for why we're giving this one and why we're denying that one, the better off we are.
You could tie in his capacity
To
29 people.
To further, does that have to be in a verbal motion, or do we need to sit with you so it's a written criteria?
Well, no, you need to state your criteria. We, at one point, had written criteria for when we would go over quota.
Correct.
And that worked as well as you and Alderman Chapleski can prevent. Not at all. It was like clapping with one hand. It didn't work at all. The aldermen couldn't agree on what the terms meant, and they were too restrictive, and nobody could fit them. So I don't think written criteria are gonna work, because we tried that once and it didn't work. But you need to establish them if you're gonna make a motion to grant it him. Limit what they are, and then going forward, stick with that. And it's just a matter of checking back in the minutes as to what the criteria were in the motion. And sticking with that. Or, within reason, because no 2 applicants are gonna be the same, but generally speaking, you have to treat similar applicants similarly, and that's, going forward, what we need to do.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah. Where's Mike?
Say what you
I like the capacity.
Repeat what you just said.
Okay, I'm gonna add what Mayor added to
Okay.
this is really good.
I move that we approve this license, subject to.
Understanding it is a restaurant first, established restaurant.
And when you say established, what do you mean by that? Established for
2 years?
2 weeks, 2 years, what, just?
1 year?
I've been here for 6 months.
6 months?
I don't mean to be facetious, but
No, that's fine.
what are you talking about?
Okay, that's fair.
More sales in food than alcohol?
Well, that's fine, but that's.
Already
how you
open and
prove that?
operating.
I mean,
You want
that's
objective
difficult.
criteria.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
put down property
Already
owner.
open and operating.
And who's a property owner in the C1 district of that many feet or more away from
How many?
the nearest residential district?
Well, not.
We don't know how
I
far
don't
that
know what the
is at this
measurement is.
point.
I gotta find Kevin, but Kevin was.
Is he running around here?
Can you,
You could just say,
capacity also?
you could just say to the nearest residential property, and we could measure that out.
Right,
Because
okay.
it's probably a few hundred feet.
We could.
And no more capacity than, what's your capacity?
Mine's 49.
Than 50.
There's really nowhere to expand.
I just think.
Is that including the parklet?
I want to watch out for the
No.
outdoor dining.
No,
Yeah.
that's inside.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I was gonna ask,
All Lysick.
the outdoor dining,
Is
how is that
alcohol-
gonna affect any other existing businesses along Greenfield Avenue, number one? I mean, can 88 Keys now get the same type of outdoor dining situation that they have, or can Benno's get the same type of situation? Are we gonna open it up to that?
So that's a different topic, I think,
Well,
isn't it?
but you're expanding, you put an outdoor venue out there on the basis that it was a coffee shop, and now you're adding a liquor license, so you've got an outdoor venue with a liquor license, and are you gonna afford that opportunity to all of the other establishments along in the downtown area? Are they gonna have that same, they're gonna come in and ask for it?
Within the capacity.
So,
well,
you've gotta take that into consideration. The other thing I'd ask is, before you act hastily on this tonight, why don't you hold it, have Scott, staff, draw up the appropriate language so that you don't get it screwed up and error. I don't think it's something that's gotta be acted upon tonight, and get it done correctly and bring it back at the next meeting so that you've got all of the restrictions that you need and want in place, and it's done properly, rather than rushing.
Mr. Chairman?
Just a minute. You were kind of asked a question, well, you said as far as the other establishments. Now, if they take the alcoholic coffee outside,
Yes. Where does his license end?
where does it open?
My license ends at the front door. Does his license extend out into the parklet?
Well, which would be the sidewalk.
Which is all things we have to discuss and settle on.
Right, I mean,
How
that's-
important to your business plan is it to have? Do you need the parklet?
You've got a couple of things going on here with that. There's a separate special use, does he have for the liquor establishment?
Yes.
Does he
They
have?
still have special use for outdoor dining.
Right, so he doesn't have his special use, and he's gotta have the outdoor dining special use, so you could control it with that. But the other question we have with this is, what licensed premises are you approving here tonight? Is it just the four walls, or is it the outside area? I don't know, I don't have the application in front of me. But even if he has outdoor dining, I would guess, without seeing it, that probably right now, it's just the four walls that he has as his liquor establishment. And you'd have to address later on the outdoor serving of alcohol. And Alderman Lysick brings up a good point. If you're going to allow that, you're probably gonna have to allow that for the outdoor serving of liquor at any of those establishments, because I don't know what your basis would be then. Capacity and how long, none of that's gonna matter. You let one bar have outdoor seating and dining, you're going to have to allow it for everybody, even if you only limit it to the downtown business district.
Well,
So, but that's another question for another day. basically.
It's even a bigger issue.
Are we gonna be holding this first?
Let's hold it, yeah.
Okay, first of all, withdraw your motion.
Yeah.
Which I
Motion
never-
withdrawn.
Yeah.
What's the name of the bar that's on 70th?
Bazes.
Bazes, they have outdoor.
They have outdoor seating.
They're not drinking.
Yeah, they do.
They got outdoor drinking?
Yeah, till
In
10
the city
o'clock.
right of way.
Yep,
I voted no on that one.
me too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he doesn't talk to me to this day, because he thought it was all about
And
him.
Mr. Chair, a question about the application. Joe, on this operation, there's the question about bands. First you check bands, and then you X through it?
Well, the band, it depends,
Is it yes or no to bands?
well, I guess that would be a definition of what, I'm thinking of a single person with an acoustic guitar, is that considered a band?
I think that's a band.
Then I guess that would
And
be-
so instrumental
that would-
music is the same thing. You checked it off yes, and then you crossed it out. So you're gonna want an instrumental music license. Because I saw on your little flyer that you had handed out, you're talking about doing some sort of acoustical sets
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, something
But
like
that does need that license.
Right, and that's not a problem. The reason why I checked off of those, then there was a fee that was associated with that, and I wasn't sure what direction this license was gonna go. So that's why I have those checked off. Not that I didn't wanna pursue it, but I didn't wanna invest.
So you're gonna wanna apply for those also?
Correct.
And that would have to be considered also.
Okay, so we're gonna hold this until we get better verbiage on the
Who
motion.
is going to do that?
Who made the motion?
Michael made it.
Not even in the district, it's not even your district. Alderman at large may.
He's looking up the distance.
Alderman
Okay,
Probst
we'll
would
establish
probably
that.
be
Well,
eager to.
We will work with the applicant to get all this
No,
done.
but I mean,
We'll direct development to do that,
Okay.
okay?
all right,
Okay,
you'll work
so
on
it's
what
held.
rules.
But understand
getting
this, I don't know this is a sole deal.
Mr. Mayor?
No, I don't.
We're way
Stable's
closer
gonna do
than
it.
we were.
Okay.
And I
if you need a
really
sponsor,
appreciate your consideration. I
Second
really do,
District
thank
Alderman
you.
Probst would be.
Yep. Very good idea, Alderman Lysick.
Okay,
President Lysick.
okay. That ends that.
Thank you. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, then we have, item number, well, 20 and 21. One's a communication, one's a license application.
Sure.
Uh,
You're the man.
Now, where are we at with Ted
What
on
is this?
that? Does Ted have any issues with them? I thought we were all square on that.
No, is this, yeah, this is.
Yeah, he's got a brand new slew of problems.
Oh, it doesn't?
He's not here this evening too. It can be held for future
What?
appearance.
Okay, let's hold both, well, yeah.
Are we gonna order?
Well, we didn't have him for appearance.
We didn't have him for, do you have any notes in there? What do you have from Ted? Do you have anything from Ted? Do you have a letter from Ted?
That trailer house.
Don't see any letter from Ted.
Nothing new?
You're saying,
Well-
building inspection, Ted?
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. Our Director of Building Inspections, communication regarding, you must have a communication, what's the
On the
communication say?
communications,
Oh,
violations. Well, a lot of these
overall park violations, dead trees and brush.
sanitary system and proper working code. Okay, let's just hold all this stuff. We'll talk to Ted.
If I can just summarize from the staff meeting, it was, the last time I think we had him here was electrical problems, and he eventually got them
Right,
fixed.
after-
Now it's plumbing and sewer problems, and then just the rundown conditions on the number of the trailers and the vegetation and other stuff in the park that's needs addressing. He's currently in municipal court.
So he's gonna spend more on lawyers than on plumbers.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna hold both those in. Then we have item number 22 and 23.
Move approval based on.
Subject necessary
Yeah,
requirements.
necessary requirements.
Do I have a second?
Aye. Second.
Second. Any further discussion on these? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carries. Then 24. 25.
Approval subject to the necessary, okay. 24, 25, and 26.
Yeah.
I move to approve subject to the necessary requirements.
Second.
Any further discussion on these?
Yeah, through 26.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then we have number 27, in the second district.
Tap City, I heard that name a lot.
Yeah, they did this last year, I believe, didn't they?
For
Backyard
benefit for
with
an
tent, I don't
employee.
know. The tent.
Hours and everything are okay?
I thought they had something last year.
Where's their hours? Employee from 2 PM till 11 PM?
Uh,
Is that correct?
11
Saturday.
p.m. on Saturday,
That's your
May
third
3rd.
time this year.
Is
This is the third one.
What did we say our guideline was? 3? No?
3 a year?
It is up to the committee's discretion.
We haven't had any problems there. I mean, with these events. I don't think we got any.
No,
we haven't had a lot of
problem
problems.
with it. Move for approval.
Second.
Oh, man, we have two. Okay, Barza gets the motion and Ryder will get the second.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
down.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Then M&M is asking for another one. We had no problems at last one. What?
Nothing was reported.
No.
Nothing for, and we're gonna make sure we let the police department know that they go in and check on her.
Yes.
I guess we just did.
I think, well, I can't comment on that.
We haven't, it's been quiet there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yep, move for approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have 29.
I thought that was 29.
No,
29 is
29, the beer license.
move approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the number 31, which is the police reports.
Move place on file.
second.
Any further discussion?
31.
Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Anybody opposed? What was that?
Did you get 30? Was 30 in there?
You skipped 30.
I skipped 30.
Tavern operator
30.
license
Did
application.
it stick somewhere? Oh, yes.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Second.
How did you go?
You're phenomenal. You just stepped right up to the plate there, I'll tell you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That is all. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.